There's lots. There's lots of pressures for sure that credit unions are facing today.
We talked about what has been happening. What do you see happening in the next 2-3 years? Hey, hi everyone. With me, I have JR Pierman, President and CEO of ASAPP. We are at his office today in Toronto. So JR, why don't you share a bit about yourself and what ASAPP does?
Thanks, Shivam. JR Pierman, President and CEO of ASAPP Financial Technology. We help credit unions in Canada and the US originate, onboard, understand, and grow member relationships, and so work across a variety of software products that we deliver to the market.
So JR, you have been deep in the credit union ecosystem for a while, right?
So we've worked with credit unions for 23 of our 25 years as an organization, and for the past 10 and a half years, our platform, the ASAPP OXP Omnichannel Experience Platform, has been live working with credit unions, over 50 credit unions.
From your experience, what's one shift you are seeing today in the credit union industry that people from outside are not really aware of?
There's lots of pressure that credit unions are facing today. The regulatory pressures and the digital transformation pressures that credit unions are facing. Digital transformation, of course, is affecting all industries, and members would obviously raising those features that they want, that service delivery from their credit union, but they probably aren't aware of some of the pressures that credit unions have to match around how to deliver that digital transformation, what's the regulatory challenges that go alongside that, what's some of the cost pressures that credit unions face on that.
But this industry is very fast changing. We talked about what has been happening. What do you see happening in the next 2-3 years that credit unions must have to adapt to, something which is non-negotiable for their survival?
Well, I guess, credit unions' biggest competitive pressure is direct-to-consumer fintech entities, whether it's private capital players that have a front-end digital UI that they're able to deliver lending products to consumers in a different way or in a different channel. So we still believe that that will continue to be a major pressure that credit unions face. But I would also say remiss to not include the changes that are going to come from the adoption of artificial intelligence. And that's going to be affecting fintech providers like ourselves. It's going to be affecting credit unions directly. Of course, members are already using that technology, either in their day-to-day banking in some way, shape, or form, or just their research or products. So I think those are two pieces.
You touched upon AI and member experience, right? So what are some of the things that ASAPP are doing in the AI space that's gonna help credit union internally and member experience or member interaction point of view as well? Are you integrating the AI in your suites as well?
Yeah, we've been very cautious in our approach with the adoption of AI specifically in the product. We're doing lots in terms of our own internal business processes and obviously using tools. But given the privacy concerns, given the confidentiality concerns, both CI information with our client partners and PII information, we're definitely taking a cautious approach. We do see elements of AI coming into the platform, likely in 2026. Nothing's finalized yet, but I would say probably one of the most probable places where we see it come in is our opportunity engine, which is a front-end querying tool attached to a back-end data warehouse that brings in data uniquely from our CRM, also from our account and lending origination, and from core banking. We see the ability to put on the front end of that and replacing some of the interface for our querying tool, the opportunity engine, with a natural language AI capabilities, and also to start looking deeper into some of those patterns that exist in data so that credit unions, again, can leverage more effective deposit renewal, mortgage renewal, new member opportunities for upsell, cross-sell campaigns. So those are some of the first steps, and then we have a few other things in the pipeline.
No, I think point is really right that you have to do it cautiously so that the negative impact doesn't become too obvious from the use of AI. A big part of that transformation, I believe, is also onboarding and identity verification. How has that evolved in the past 1 or 2 years?
It's really evolved for 10 and a half years that we've been in the market. Digital identity verification associated with remote onboarding that started when we got into the space back in 2014, 2015 to where it is today. There's been lots of changes. Biometrics, of course, working with Signzy has really been a big shift for us. But across the board, we see our credit union client partners asking how can they be pre-filling applications, how can they be getting higher completion rates on the application flow, whether that be on the account or the lending origination side. But at the same time, being cautious about fraud, being cautious about Interact compliance. So I guess we see those dual pressures. Unfortunately, higher risks of fraud that have to be mitigated. At the same time, a real desire to have better completion rates, easier member experience.
There's always a trade-off, right, between customer experience, friction, and the trust part, right? So it's very hard to balance both. But you have been working with so many partners in the onboarding space. What actually matters when selecting a partner for member onboarding? Because as you mentioned, it's a huge piece, and for credit unions, driving member acquisition and deposit is very important. So what, in your view, has been some factors which you have considered while selecting a partner in the onboarding space?
Yeah, for us, like we have partnerships with our credit union customers, they're our client partners, they're not just customers at the end of the day. It's the same thing for us with our key vendor relationships. They're not, in our respect, they're not vendors, they're strategic partners. So when we evaluate that, whether it's in the identity verification onboarding space or it's in the development space, I think it's those key things. What's the relationship going to be like to build over the long term? And so that starts with trust, initial evaluation of that relationship. We believe a lot in meeting people in person, so we're grateful for you guys coming to visit us in Toronto today. So it's great spending some time in person with you guys. That is important to us. And even through COVID, I mean, we were out and about as much as we could be, and making sure we were still making that face-to-face contact. So I think that's the first fundamental step. Of course, value needs to be there. So I don't want to say just cost. Again, I talked about it before, credit unions are faced with lots of cost pressures. I mean, they come to us with challenges. They may love a part of our platform or may love the whole platform, but they're faced with cost pressure. So when we work with our strategic partners, we got to make sure elements that we're bringing in, if it's in the identity verification or the onboarding process, that we have the right value proposition that we're bringing to the table. So those are two important pieces. And then I'd say being genuine. We're all going to make mistakes. We make mistakes, and our commitment to our client partners is we'll fix those mistakes. I mean, we want our partners to be upfront about that and to fix it, right? And we'll work together to deliver and not make that mistake again. And I think that for us is that genuine relationship is important.
And do you think Signzy team has fulfilled all your expectations in terms of being genuine, in terms of being transparent, in terms of working together as a partner and not just as a vendor?
Yeah, it's been a great relationship. I mean, you guys came in at a point where we really needed to find a different biometrics partner. We had a partner for a few years. Again, from a technical capability standpoint, they were fine. They were matching the requirements of both our client partners and us. From a value proposition standpoint, there was some challenge. But more importantly, it really became a very one-sided relationship where I don't think they believed in the long-term value of the partnership. And so since starting to work with Signzy, that's been completely different. You guys have been very innovative, have demonstrated that desire to work with the ideas we had, but also to bring new ideas to the table. And transparency and openness is, I can give you guys a call, you guys come to visit us. Obviously, very good response on email and digital communication as well, so it's been great.
Thank you so much for trusting us, I mean, with everything, right? I remember meeting with you almost 2 years back at one of the conferences, and since then it's so great to see the relationship grow. It's so great to see the partnership grow continuously, and I'm sure there are way more things we would do together for the advancement of credit union technology. Just one last question. What would be an insight or advice you would share with credit union leaders related to your digital transformation experience?
I'd say technology is such a small part of the digital transformation experience. I mean, and it's funny, right? We're a tech company and I'm saying that, but it's a critical part, and obviously I think you can't get to the end goals without the technology, but without having the right resources available within the team, a lot of digital transformation projects never get to success. And it really does take that planning, that commitment, and that willingness to change. If a credit union has that, they're already 80% further ahead even before they made the technology decision.
Right. You're saying like it's the mindset that has to change, or it has been changing, which matters way more than how the technology layer sits on.
Yeah, I think you can obviously choose the wrong technology partner for what you want to accomplish, and you would fail as well.
Right.
But you can choose the right partner, and without the mindset shift, you're 100% going to fail.
Okay. That's so right, and it's so nice to speak with you, JR, today. And thank you so much for inviting us to your office and giving us your time. I think it has been a really good
Thanks, Shivam. Yeah, it's been a great partnership with you. Thanks.